Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever noticed that when you share your struggles with someone, they nod in sympathy, but deep inside, they are either indifferent or too occupied with their own battles? Life teaches us a valuable lesson. Don't tell people your problems. It's not because your problems don't matter, but because you are the one who must deal with them. Complaining doesn't change situations. Crying for help doesn't always bring solutions. What truly matters is how you choose to respond. Will you let your struggles define you, or will you rise above them? People often share their problems in the hope of receiving comfort, advice, or sympathy. However, the reality is that most people listen out of politeness, not genuine concern. They may offer kind words, but once the conversation is over, they go back to their own lives, largely unaffected by what they just heard. This is not because people are heartless, but because everyone is dealing with their own battles. The question then is, why do we rely on external validation when the only person who can truly help us is ourselves? When we constantly talk about our struggles, we unknowingly place ourselves in a cycle of self-pity. We give power to our problems instead of focusing on solutions. We expect others to empathize, but empathy alone does not change our circumstances. The hard truth is that no one will come and rescue us unless we take charge of our own lives. The more we seek sympathy, the more we weaken our inner strength. Think of the most successful and resilient people in history. They did not waste time complaining about their hardships. They learned from their struggles, adapted, and moved forward. They understood that self-reliance is the key to growth. It is important to acknowledge pain, but dwelling on it and constantly seeking external validation will only hold you back. Instead, shift your focus inward. Ask yourself, what can I do to overcome this? The moment you stop expecting others to solve your problems, you will unlock a new level of self-empowerment. People who constantly share their difficulties often believe that talking about them will bring relief. While verbalizing emotions may help in the short term, it does not provide lasting solutions. Instead of pouring your energy into discussing what's wrong, invest that same energy into self-improvement. Learn a new skill, work on personal development, or find ways to turn your pain into power. When you choose self-reliance over sympathy, you cultivate inner resilience. Another crucial aspect to consider is that when you repeatedly tell people your problems, you may unintentionally push them away. No one likes to be surrounded by constant negativity. While genuine friends and family will support you, even they have limits. The more you burden them with complaints, the more they may distance themselves. True strength is not in seeking validation, but in finding ways to rise above challenges. Without needing constant reassurance, start relying on yourself, practice self-reflection, develop problem-solving skills, and build a mindset that thrives in adversity. The world respects those who stand strong despite hardships, not those who continuously complain. When you shift from seeking sympathy to taking responsibility, you transform not only your mindset, but also your future. True empowerment comes when you no longer need to explain your struggles to anyone. When you become your own source of strength, your problems lose their grip on you. You realize that you are capable of overcoming anything, not because someone else told you so, but because you chose to believe in yourself. Every challenge we face in life is an opportunity for growth. Struggles are not meant to break us. They are meant to shape us into stronger, wiser individuals. However, the way we perceive and handle our difficulties determines whether they become stepping stones or barriers. Too often, people dwell on their hardships, continuously narrating their struggles to others in the hope of receiving comfort. But the more we talk about our problems, the more we give them power over us. Instead of constantly reliving the pain through words, we should learn to channel that energy into personal development and resilience. Life is not fair, and everyone faces battles, some visible, others hidden. It is easy to believe that we are alone in our suffering, but the truth is, challenges are a universal experience. The difference between those who thrive and those who remain stuck lies in their mindset. Some people use difficulties as an excuse to stay stagnant, while others use them as fuel to rise above their circumstance. When you stop viewing your struggles as a burden and start seeing them as lessons, you shift from a victim mindset to a warrior mindset. Pain is a great teacher. The struggles you go through teach you things that no book or lecture ever could. They introduce you to your own strength, resilience, and potential. But for that to happen, you must be willing to face them rather than constantly seek sympathy. Every time you dwell on your hardships in front of others, you reinforce the belief that you are powerless. The more you narrate your problems, the more they take root in your mind, shaping your self-identity around struggle rather than strength. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" This shift in perspective is what transforms hardships into personal growth. People who constantly talk about their difficulties often become trapped in their own negative cycle. Their words reinforce their pain, making it harder for them to move forward. When you keep discussing your struggles, you unintentionally feed them, making them appear larger than they really are. But when you face them with silence, courage, and determination, they start to lose their grip on you. Problems do not disappear by talking about them. They disappear when you take action. True growth happens when you learn to deal with your challenges internally. Instead of seeking comfort in complaints, seek strength in solitude. Instead of waiting for someone to lift you up, learn to lift yourself. When you realize that your struggles are shaping you into a stronger version of yourself, you stop seeking external validation and start focusing on your inner transformation. Your hardships are not meant to be broadcasted to the world, they are meant to be conquered. The more you internalize this truth, the stronger you become. Your struggles are not your identity. Your ability to overcome them is. Stop talking about what is holding you back and start focusing on what will push you forward. Problems are a part of life, but how we approach them determines whether we stay stuck or move forward. Many people spend hours talking about what is wrong in their lives, hoping that verbalizing their struggles will bring relief. While sharing emotions may feel comforting in the moment, it does not lead to real change. Complaining does not solve problems. Taking action does. The more you focus on what is wrong, the less energy you have to fix it. Instead of dwelling on your struggles, shift your mindset towards finding solutions. When you constantly talk about problems, you reinforce their presence in your life. Every time you repeat a negative story, you relive the emotions associated with it. Your brain starts believing that the problem defines your reality, making it harder to break free from it. The more you complain, the more powerless you feel. But when you shift your focus from the problem to the solution, you regain control. You start seeing possibilities instead of limitations. Successful people do not waste time discussing what is going wrong. They channel their energy into finding ways to make things better. They understand that every challenge has a solution. It may not be easy, but it exists. Complaining does not move you forward. It only drains your energy and the energy of those around you. If you want to change your circumstances, you must take responsibility for finding a way out. I have so many problems. Ask yourself, what can I do to improve the situation? This simple shift in language changes your perspective. It turns you from a passive victim into an active problem solver. Every problem comes with an opportunity to learn and grow, but you will only see it if you stop focusing on the struggle and start focusing on the solution. Another important reason to avoid dwelling on problems is that negativity is contagious. When you constantly talk about difficulties, you create an atmosphere of helplessness, not just for yourself, but for those around you. People are drawn to energy, and if your energy is always centered on what is wrong, you may push away those who could actually help you grow. On the other hand, when you focus on solutions, you inspire others. You show them that no situation is permanent and that progress is always possible. Changing your mindset from complaints to solutions does not mean ignoring your emotions. It means acknowledging your struggles without letting them define you. It means allowing yourself to feel, but also reminding yourself that you have the power to overcome. Life will always present challenges, but your response to them determines your success. If something is bothering you, instead of talking about it endlessly, take action. Find a way to improve the situation, no matter how small the step. When you focus on solutions, problems lose their power over you. You are stronger than your struggles. And the moment you realize this, nothing will be able to hold you back. Energy is one of the most powerful forces in our lives. It affects how we think, how we feel, and how we interact with others. Every word we speak, every thought we entertain, and every action we take carries a certain energy. When you constantly talk about your problems, you create an atmosphere of negativity around you. This negativity does not just affect you, it spreads to the people around you, making them feel drained and uninspired. Just as joy and optimism are contagious, so are complaints and pessimism. That is why it is important to be mindful of the energy you bring into a space. When you spend too much time focusing on problems, your mind starts to believe that negativity is the dominant force in your life. You become trapped in a cycle of self-pity, frustration, and hopelessness. The more you talk about what is wrong, the more you reinforce those negative emotions, making it harder to see the good that still exists. Instead of feeding into this downward spiral, make a conscious effort to shift your energy. Choose to focus on solutions, gratitude, and personal growth. When you do this, you not only uplift yourself, but also inspire those around you. Have you ever noticed how some people leave you feeling motivated and energized, while others make you feel exhausted and discouraged? This is the power of energy at work. People naturally gravitate toward positivity and distance themselves from negativity. If you're always complaining, discussing hardships, and dwelling on problems, you may unknowingly push people away. No one enjoys being around someone who constantly talks about their struggles without trying to improve their situation. On the other hand, when you carry yourself with strength and positivity, even in difficult times, people are drawn to you. They admire your resilience and feel inspired by your ability to rise above challenges. Being a source of positive energy does not mean ignoring problems or pretending that everything is perfect. It means choosing to respond to difficulties with a mindset of growth and determination rather than defeat. Instead of saying, "Nothing ever works out for me," say, "I am facing a challenge, but I will find a way through it." Instead of constantly complaining, focus on actions that lead to progress. The way you speak about your life shapes your reality, so choose words that empower rather than drain you. When you become mindful of the energy you put out, your entire world changes. You start attracting opportunities, people, and circumstances that align with your positive mindset. Your presence becomes a source of motivation rather than exhaustion for those around you. More importantly, you begin to feel lighter, happier, and more in control of your life. Be mindful of what you share and how often you speak about problems. Protect your energy, focus on solutions, and choose to be a source of strength. When you shift your energy, you do not just change your own life, you inspire others to do the same. Every person you meet is carrying a burden you cannot see. Life is not easy for anyone, and everyone is fighting battles, some visible, others hidden. It is natural to want to share your problems with others, seeking comfort and understanding. However, expecting people to always be available to listen, understand, and support you can lead to disappointment. The truth is, no matter how much people care, they have their own struggles to deal with. You are not the only one facing challenges, and understanding this will help you become emotionally independent. When you constantly talk about your difficulties, you may assume that people will always be there to support you. But in reality, even the kindest and most compassionate people have limits. They may sympathize with you once, twice, or even several times, but eventually they will feel overwhelmed by their own responsibilities. This does not mean they do not care. It simply means they have their own battles to fight. No one can carry your pain for you just as you cannot carry theirs. Relying too much on others for emotional support can make you dependent. If you always turn to people for comfort, you may struggle to develop the inner strength needed to face hardships alone. True strength comes from within, and the sooner you realize that, the stronger you become. Instead of seeking constant reassurance, start trusting yourself. Learn to navigate difficulties on your own. The more you practice self-reliance, the more resilient you become. Another important thing to remember is that constantly talking about your problems can make relationships feel one-sided. Friendships and relationships should be balanced, built on mutual support, not just one person always seeking comfort while the other listens. If you are always sharing your struggles but never asking about others, people may start feeling emotionally drained. They may begin to distance themselves, not because they do not care, but because they need space for their own struggles. This does not mean you should never talk about your problems. It is okay to share, but be mindful of how often you do it and to whom. Instead of expecting people to always provide solutions, practice self-reflection. Ask yourself, how can I handle this on my own? What steps can I take to improve my situation? When you take responsibility for your problems rather than relying on others, you build emotional resilience. Life will always present challenges, and people will not always be available to help. This is why it is essential to develop inner strength. Learn to find comfort in your own thoughts, seek solutions within yourself, and build a mindset that does not depend on others for stability. When you understand that everyone has their own battles, you will stop expecting constant support and start finding strength within yourself. This shift will not only help you grow, but will also improve your relationships, making them healthier and more balanced. The strongest people are those who learn to stand on their own, knowing that true resilience comes from within. Silence is one of the most powerful tools we have, yet it is often overlooked. In a world where people are constantly talking about their struggles, their disappointments, and their frustrations, choosing silence can be a sign of strength rather than weakness. When faced with problems, most people feel the urge to talk about them, seeking sympathy or advice. However, speaking too much about difficulties can sometimes make them feel even heavier. The more we verbalize our struggles, the more we reinforce them in our minds. Instead of repeatedly discussing problems, sometimes the best approach is to process them in silence. When you remain silent about your struggles, you give yourself the space to think clearly. Talking about problems repeatedly can make them seem bigger than they really are. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of negative emotions, preventing you from moving forward. Silence, on the other hand, allows you to reflect, analyze, and come up with solutions without external noise clouding your judgment. When you stop sharing every hardship with others, you develop a habit of self-reliance. You learn to trust yourself and your ability to handle challenges without needing constant reassurance. Silence also protects you from unnecessary judgment. When you talk about your struggles, you invite opinions, some helpful, some not. Not everyone will understand your situation, and not everyone will respond with kindness. Some may offer advice that is not suitable for you, while others may even use your vulnerabilities against you. By keeping certain struggles to yourself, you shield your energy from negativity and focus on what truly matters. Finding a way forward. Another important aspect of silence is that it helps you conserve your energy. Speaking about problems repeatedly drains your emotional and mental strength. You may find yourself reliving painful experiences over and over again, making it harder to heal. But when you choose silence, you give yourself the time and space needed to process emotions naturally. You allow yourself to grow through the experience rather than getting trapped in endless discussions about it. People who embrace silence often find that their actions speak louder than their words. Instead of complaining about hardships, they use their energy to make changes. Instead of seeking sympathy, they work on building strength. And instead of waiting for others to understand their pain, they learn to heal themselves. When you become comfortable with silence, you develop an inner power that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. This does not mean that you should never talk about your feelings. There are moments when seeking support is necessary and beneficial. However, there is a difference between sharing for the sake of healing and sharing simply out of habit. Before discussing your problems with others, ask yourself, will talking about this help me find a solution, or am I just repeating the same story? If the answer is the latter, then silence might be the better choice. Silence is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of wisdom. It allows you to protect your energy, process your emotions, and grow from your experiences. The strongest people are not always the ones who speak the most. Sometimes they're the ones who know when to stay quiet, reflect, and let their actions speak for them. Life will always present challenges, but the way you handle them defines your strength. Talking about problems may bring temporary relief, but it does not create solutions. True empowerment comes from shifting your focus from struggles to growth, from complaints to action, and from external validation to inner strength. The world does not stop for anyone's pain, and people, no matter how kind, have their own battles to fight. Instead of expecting constant support, learn to stand on your own. Your energy shapes your reality. When you dwell on problems, they consume you. When you focus on solutions, you break free. Protect your energy, choose your words wisely, and remember that silence can be more powerful than endless discussions. Strength is not about how much you talk about your struggles, it is about how you rise above them. The most successful and resilient people are not those who seek sympathy, but those who take control of their lives with quiet determination. Stop telling the world your problems. Start showing the world your strength. Let your actions speak louder than your words, and let your resilience define you. You are capable, you are strong, and you do not need to announce your struggles to prove it. The moment you stop looking for external validation and start believing in yourself is the moment you truly begin to rise.